HUDs, or heads-up displays, are a core part of FPS gaming, going all the way back to Doom, and now even in modern titles. But sometimes they suck. Example A being tf2. The stock tf2 HUD, in my opinion, sucks. Stuff is off in the corners and not very visible, but this is fixable through custom HUDs, which can range from Shrek HUD to Eric HUD and even Hex HUD, making everything from game UI and health and ammo to small things like individual buttons and prompts. And I'm interested in this, so I made one. The link is in the description, but here's my journey on making a custom HUD. Okay, this is like my 4th time recording this fucking video, so let's get this over with. Right now I am working on HUD item effect meter. If I haven't already explained it, I am going to make a HUD, right? And I've done some stuff because I wasn't originally when I first made it. Anyways, I just didn't do some shit on camera, and when I made it, I didn't think I was going to be making this video, so here we are. But right now, we have the, most of the HUD item effect meters done for Scout and Soldier. It's just that, you know, they're breaking for some weird reason with certain items. Like if you have a rage, it's fine. If you have a banner and stuff, you're fine with the cow mangler. But if you do not have a banner and you are simply just doing something else, like say running gunboats, it breaks. So I have to figure out why it's doing that. I think it has something to do with me being lazy with how I coded these and copying over a bunch of code that I already made. But you know, that's fine. Other than those small little things, we have things like the health and ammo done, the freaking HUD animations like that. We have, if I get an SV cheats, let me spell that correctly. Hurt me, let's say negative. I can't type hurt me, negative. Oh my god. Oh my freaking god. I'm gonna cut this. Just got a new keyboard. There we go. That works with, like, your health. I really like that overheal color, in my opinion. I think it looks really nice. Other than that minor stuff, I think we're doing pretty alright. Most things are going well with Scout and the other classes. I have gotten none of Spy's stuff done yet, but I have gotten, let's do it with you, kill streaks in the bottom right hand corner. I might change where that is positioned, but we'll see in another devlog. Eventually I will try and do something. I like how it's positioned now, it just might get in the way with things like spy disguises getting information, so I might put it a little higher or move the spy disguise information. I like keeping it in the bottom left, like keeping most things in the bottom left, but we'll see on that. And for most other things, like demo, we have his pipes done. And I think, if I'm correct, I also did the Tide Turner and charges in general, which is cool. The rest of it is really just trying to get good. I also have heads done, which is good. It's the most of the entirety of this is working with all the weapons and making sure all the weapons have all their individual things done. Like, for example, Pyro, the oomph meter isn't really working, along with, I haven't even started on the thermal thruster. Yeah, so that'll be fun. But, you know, we'll figure it out as we get there. Gas is working because, if you don't know about HUD editing, and making a HUD yourself, it's a lot of trial and error and a lot of just making shit, and sometimes things are bounded to things, which is fun, but I'll probably explain that later. Other than that, that's HUD dev. Woohoo! A dev 1 done. Also, if you're bad, you're just bad. Don't blame your HUD. This is Gwendolyn. This is the HUD she uses. She is a top-level invite scout playing for Catgirl Cafe. This is competitive. And this is the HUD she uses. Why do I even try? Why do I even try? So, welcome to devlog 2, am I right, guys? So, I kind of finished the main HUD. It's literally just stolen from Eric HUD. Unknown command, fuck. We figured out a name for it. Instead of Snow HUD, it's going to be called Smith HUD. I'll do that later, but when we go into an item test server, we're mainly finished with all the classes. Everything except engineer is what we're working on right now. Engineer has been, I guess, like all his stuff is just really complicated and boring. But we did also fix the rage problem with the cow mangler. So now that you have the cow mangler equipped and the gunboats, it does it the same way, which is really nice. And that's pretty cool. It turned out it was an offset thing, so in HUD item effect meter, it had an offset, and everything else was offsetting that, offset the original thing, so they canceled each other out, except the cow mangler, and it'd sometimes break if you equip certain weapons, and it also happened for spy, so I just removed that offset from both of the HUD item effect meters in the specific, like, particle gun and stuff like that. I believe the one thing that is not finished, which I'm not sure I have, is the Righteous Bison for Soldier. But other than the Engineer and the Righteous Bison for Shoulder, everything is finished. So that means Spy Knife, the Bicycle is finished, the Cloak is finished, the Sniper charges for the Huntsman, and stuff like the Razorback, the Roddy, stuff like that's all finished. If you have the Huntsman, I believe it doesn't interfere. Oh, it does. Okay, that's a new bug. We'll figure that out. But, you know, it's just learning a lot of that shit. So, we're finishing up the tiny little details along with doing engineer. I also have done, let me find the command to give Uber. And then we go to the enemy gamers, alright? It will allow us to get Uber charge, which the Uber charge meter is now blue. And it flashes when it's on red. I need to fix a few alignment issues, but now it's good. Uber charge feels great, by the way. That didn't take too long, which was always fun. But other than that, it was a really easy thing to do. And then we have our things like Pyro's and Jetpack. Jetpack was really weird to figure out. I just did it on charges like that. I could do it like the Vaccinator. Speaking of Vaccinator, Vaccinator is also done, which is a funny thing. Vaccinator and Vaccinator. So like you get charges and shit. You can use them, and it only, I made it so it only shows the icon when you're actually healing someone. I figure out that it's just kind of annoying to have two of them out, and it makes it look all cluttered. I do need to fix the charge label for this, but other than that, we're pretty alright. You know, so we're chilling, we're chilling. Anyways, that's devlog. Have fun, gamers. We'll see you when this is going on. You don't mind me recording the conversation, by the way?
Oh yeah, go for it, go for it.
Sick. So, all it is I'm just gonna ask a few questions and shit, and it'll be fun. So,
Cool.
like, first off, how do you get into like HUD development and stuff like that?
So, honestly, through a lot of like just obscure connections. So, when I first started playing TF2, I had, or competitively, TF2, I had some friends who knew people who were already playing actively. And one of those friends was a head developer named Sammy. And
Hmm.
Sammy developed Sammy HUD, as you might know, because it was pretty popular for a while. I don't know if it still is popular or not. I'm not in the loop.
Yeah, of course.
But that one, he made that one, and I met him, and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! Like, like, how did you learn it? Like, did you get to actually learn how to like program or anything?" He's like, "No, I'm a psych major." I'm like, "Oh my god, me too! I'm also a psych major." So I was kind of like a little bit of inspiration there. And then a few months go by. I don't really mess with any HUD stuff or anything. I was kind of just like content with using my Peaches HUD. And then somebody else I was playing with in competitive sixes was like, "Oh yeah, I made my own HUD," and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so cool! I had another friend who made a HUD. I'm like curious to like mess around with this now and like learn about it." So I downloaded that friend's HUD, and I actually based most of the things originally off of their HUD, but that's where I began really. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that I knew that were into HUD stuff did not really have a lot of like patience to answer a lot of my questions because at first I was very like struggling with a lot of it because it's very hard when you
Mm-hmm.
don't know anything about like it's not even really like programming language. It's kind of budget, but I
Yeah,
really didn't know anything. And
trust
so
me.
it was really difficult for other people to be like, I'm like, okay, I get this is what this animation, like, this is like the line I'm supposed to write for this animation, but like, I don't get it. It's like one of those things. So it took me a
Yeah.
while. Eventually, I figured it all out, and I used a lot of resources in the HUD.tf Discord. Huge shout out to them, honestly. I would not have actually finished a lot of my
For
projects
real.
if I didn't have their resources.
Okay.
And eventually, here we are.
Yeah. Okay, well that's crazy. You kind of answered two birds with one stone there. But
Nice.
one other thing that I have is like I know personally it's a lot of just trial and error, right? You're trying something out, you
Yeah,
press the HUD reload scheme and you just send it. What
yeah.
was like a really notable thing that you like saw or was really challenging or remember while going through your HUD?
Just in general, something challenging,
Yeah,
or
something challenging or notable or just like maybe it could even just be fun that you just thought was sick.
well, I have two things. One that's challenging, one thing that's like just a very useful resource that like made everything a lot easier for me. I just think is like so important to bring up. But first thing is the challenging part. I'll talk about. The one thing that I'll never forget was first learning how to do animations on my HUD, and it's like just animations like color changes or like whenever this event ends and this thing happens. That was like the hardest thing ever for me to understand at first because there's like a lot of weird like timing you have to put into it. It's like, oh yeah, you have to put how many milliseconds, how many seconds do you want this to last for? And I'm like, I don't know. So you have to keep refreshing it, and make sure that it works. And sometimes it breaks your HUD, and you have to reopen the whole game. And it was just a pain in the ass to learn. And
Yeah.
on that like same like vein though, I do want to mention. I think it's like just like a little like fun story I learned about was there is a command that made me like learn how like just finding things like what files correlated to what was so much easier when I learned about VGUI draw tree.
Mm-hmm.
um I think that's like the most important thing, and that has like helped me do any more edits in the future for my HUD. I've done edits for like at least five people's HUDs now, I think.
Wow.
um I made some other people's HUDs that were just like personalized ones, like just stuff like that, and I literally would not be able to do it if I didn't have that tool in the game, VGUI
Nice.
draw tree. I could not have gone through nearly as much. It would save me genuinely hours of researching.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, another thing that I want to ask is like when you were making your HUD, Strawberry HUD, did you originally like have a few other failed projects beforehand or like what was the real goal with it?
So I definitely feel like I did have like quote unquote failed projects, but it was always this HUD was the failed project. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna mess with this and like just experiment like a ton. Like I'll never forget when I first made the first version of this HUD. I made like the overheal was like a rainbow because I just thought it'd be cool. I'm like that'd be sick to have like a rainbow overheal. And then I posted it on HUDs.tf. Just I was just being like, oh, how's this look, guys? And I showed it to my friend, the original I mentioned, Sammy, and he's like, "This is the most experimental thing I've seen in my life." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good way to put it." And then I realized, like, I got the hint, kind of like, I should probably make this a little bit cleaner, and I should probably make this a lot simpler, because obviously, at the end of the day, this is my HUD. It is for me. It is what I wanted perfectly into a HUD. That was my goal with it. But that also being said, I do like sharing projects like this with other people. So I'd like other people to be able to experience and also like I guess I don't know what the word would be. I guess like enjoy it. I don't know that's like the proper like phrasing for what I'm trying to say, but I think
Yeah,
this having that is really cool to me. Just like sharing a project with the world and you know.
that's sick. That's sick. So, along with like the what did you expect kind of stuff with the HUD, when you finally quote unquote finished version 1, finished it, HUDs are never going to be finished because I
Yeah.
always will find something that's wrong with mine too.
Yeah.
But what was your real like big takeaway from it? Like how did that affect you? And I know that it's definitely gained I've gained I know some people that have gained a lot of notoriety from it. So like is there anything that you didn't expect that came with when you made it, and then kind of just like would you recommend it? Would you recommend making your own HUD?
So I'll start from the bottom up. So I'll start from the recommending part and then everything above that. I would recommend definitely experimenting, messing with HUDs and editing them. Making one from scratch, I think I spent like at least 1,000 hours on my HUD. Like I spent an insane amount of time and I would just stay up and I got like really like into it. Like I almost got like addicted to doing it. Like I just always wanted to find something new to mess with.
Mm,
And I think the real biggest takeaway that I have out of all of it is probably just that like I don't. It's just fun to like mess around with like projects like this. It's kind of like it's almost like drawing. It's like drawing like a picture or like it's like for me like I do music, so it's kind of similar to like working on a song for me. It's like like trying to work on production or something, and I just need to keep going back and back and back and be like, what can I do to make this better? What can I do to make this better? Without also forcefully being like, this needs to be in there so it's perfect. Because at the end of the day, like if you try to make something too perfect, then it's never gonna come out the way you want it to. You just have to make it go with the flow. And
mm,
I think if anything that I learned out of this was that it's definitely not as daunting to learn new things that seem as challenging. Because this seemed like impossible when I was first doing it. Like I would genuinely get headaches the first like few days I would look at it and I would be like, I can't even read this without my brain going like, pew! Like it actually gave me headaches. And then as I just kept working on it and working on it, I was just so dedicated. And I just wanted it so badly. I kind of like made me realize like if I want something like this, I can't just say screw this, I'm out. Like I just have to commit to it. And that's something that I struggled with a lot in the past. I'd start on something and then I would just be like, I can't even bother. I don't understand this enough. And now I'm like, if I see a project or like, like maybe even just like, for example, like even just competitive TF2, like that's like a challenge and like something I need to improve on. I don't feel as, what's the word? Like, I'm not as afraid of it. I'm definitely a lot more confident.
okay. Okay, yeah. That's fucking amazing, dude. Thank you so much about anything. Anything else? Any final thoughts? Any things you want to plug or have in the video?
I think that's really it. I honestly, I could talk like on and on and on about the things I've done with my HUD, but as far as productive talk, I think I got all the words I can out, all the
Okay.
proper words out.
Yeah, well, man,
Yeah,
thank you so much
yeah.
for the interview.
Thanks
I'm
for having me.
really excited to see the next version of the HUD. Have a lovely day.
Awesome.
What up? So, this is devlog, I think 3 or 4. So, I have been thinking a lot recently on this video. I'm not sure I can make the HUD. I'm getting really burnt out right now, but I can tell you a few things that I've done last time. I know the scoreboard is a lot better. We have a speedometer in the bottom right that I'm not sure I pointed out last time. Other than that, we're doing pretty well on just some basic stuff. We have what if I could freaking do this? We have like guides menu. We have, I think, most of what engineer is done. So like we have his the fucking build menu done, stuff like that. Really been slow these past couple days. I was working on it a lot and then I'm getting burnt out, so I'm probably gonna take a couple breaks for the next week or so. Might just release the video because I want to include a bunch of other stuff, and if I do release the video, it's gonna be like 2 parts if I were to make the HUD. Um, other than that, it's just been a lot of little details like getting shit like this done, getting our scoreboard done. It's really small stuff that you don't think about when you actually make a HUD. And I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it, but it is perfectly playable in casual. I have been using it in casual. All the items are done and stuff like that. It's just really tedious now because, you know, stuff is tedious. But we have fixed a bunch of medic stuff, like the Uber charges, snipers, huntsman thing should be fixed, by the way. It would let me change. Huntsman. Freaking karate doesn't interfere anymore, I don't believe. Which is nice. It's just a lot of work. As the past devlog though, it does look a lot cleaner in menus. Not like menus like this, but like this menu. Just little details, quality of life fixes, little bugs. Most of the weapons and stuff like that are done. It's just really in pain, so I might release a beta version just for the video. We'll see. So this might be our last and final devlog if I really am up to it, but that's it. You. Okay, so this is our little thing that I have no script for, but yeah, that was the video. I failed. I couldn't make a HUD in however long I wanted to make a HUD for. Yeah, huge shout out to Hex though for letting me have an interview with him. Shout out to HUDs.tf and all them guys out there for helping massively along the way and like figuring out all this shit that I need to do. Other than that, yeah, this is it. I failed what I would set out to do. So, I hope you learned something though. Have a lovely day.